Welcome to the Health by Haven podcast. I'm your host, Haven Quinlan. If you're a multi-passionate wellness enthusiast, then you're in the right place. I'm obsessed with learning as much as I can about the wellness world, and I want to share that with you. Each episode will dive into various aspects of health and wellness through inspiring and informative guest interviews with some solo episodes thrown in. Tune in for all things health, and let's have some fun, shall we? Kayla has been in the beauty industry for 20 plus years. She loved the beauty world from an early age when her mom used to put color eyeshadow on her to coordinate with her outfit. Kayla loved that makeup was a fun way to be unique and expressive. While Kayla was in college pursuing a dietetics degree, she started working for MAC Cosmetics, and her love of all things beauty industry grew deeper and deeper. She worked for MAC for 13 years until she pursued her own makeup artistry business in 2017. Not only did she view makeup as art, but also a way to know others while helping them feel the best version of themselves. As she grew older, makeup artistry became more than just makeup to Kayla. She believes that while makeup is fun, caring for our largest organ, our skin, doesn't have to be about covering it up. Kayla is now an esthetician at a medical practice in Knoxville, Tennessee. Aesthetics came naturally to Kayla because of the years in her makeup career. She's worked in both plastic surgery and medical spa environments and continually sees how the right skincare plays the biggest role in the lives of patients. Being a part of her patient's skin journey, seeing their results, and hearing their excitement when they see that their hard work is paying off is her favorite part of her job. So thank you, Kayla, so much for joining us on the Health by Haven podcast today. I'm so excited to get to chat all things skincare and makeup and Pure Barre and healthy living with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so looking forward to our talk. I know it will just be just like girls hanging out. I know you pretty well, so from our Pure Barre love. So it'll just be like we're hanging out in the living room.
Yes, I love it. Well, I guess let's start there then, since that is how we first met. Talk to us a little bit about how you found Pure Barre and kind of what you do for fitness, your fitness journey throughout the years.
Yes. So I found Pure Barre when I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, actually. And I went a couple times. It was so fun. The instructor was just so encouraging, and it helped you were on track even though you were new to it. And then that was in about like 2012 or so, and then I ended up moving to Dallas, Texas, and that's where like I was a runner for most of my like 20s, and then late 20s, early 30s, I'm like, my knees just can't do this anymore. And I was like, okay, what do I tried a couple of things, and but Pure Barre was what I had tried before I was moving. And then there were a couple studio options in Dallas, and the community, it's just such like a family no matter where you go. So Dallas was the same. Instructors were so encouraging, helped, get your form right. So you're also like not going to hurt yourself
Yeah.
and, in any of the moves. And they helped you really know like what this workout was doing. And so I'm like, okay, I like this. And it just felt so strengthening, like kind of from the inside out. And the impact was minimal on like my knees from running. And I just really felt like I got more of a workout for my body. Like as a female, it felt like my muscles, everything were like getting toned, like how they needed to be really for like me as a female. And I felt strong because you're lifting like, yes, a 2 pound weight might be quote unquote small, but like when you're doing planks and all these other things, it's like I'm holding up my own weight. It's me and me, me versus me. So I just really like that challenge where it's just always you doing better than the last time you were there. It's, just about your own journey in that. So I just stayed with it for a long time. And so I was kind of on and off still with Pure Barre. Hadn't committed completely because I was like, I'm going to run too. And I'm like, oh, I need cardio. And honestly, the more aerobic things are not as great. Like for like even my heart rate, blood pressure, all these things, the anaerobic type of stuff like Pure Barre gives me is so much more beneficial for my health, because those anaerobics don't like spike your cortisol levels. And I just
Mhm.
love that because cortisol is not a hormone I want flowing through my body. So I just like the ones that are high impact. However, they're not really getting that huge aerobic type of burst. So I have really enjoyed my Pure Barre, and I committed for sure, for sure. I was in it like right before COVID. I was a member. I was going frequently, and then COVID hit. We went virtual. I was doing the virtual thing. I mean, and talk
Mhm.
about realizing like you realize like during the COVID, all that workout from home stuff, you are your own ceiling. So
Yeah.
I mean, you make time for your workout, and it's really like you really are your own barrier. But and then when I moved from Dallas, and I didn't have a Pure Barre anywhere near me, but thank goodness that the virtual membership was still available. They made it available for me, and I mean, I hit my 1,000th class virtually.
Oh my gosh.
And but I'm so thankful because I could do Pure Barre still, but from where I was at, like 6 hours away with no studio. Um, and I had bought a bar. Like I had a little
Yeah.
had my own little corner. And it's just and I was still getting a great workout by doing it virtually. I missed the
Yeah.
family, like the family piece of it, but they give me a shout out on the virtual. And but then when we moved to Knoxville, I was so excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have people like in person. And
Yeah.
so I immediately was like, okay, sign me up. And I started I go to both studios based on the time that works for my schedule. And I both are so wonderful. Either, no matter where you go, it's always like a family. And the instructors, again, they're very knowledgeable. They help your form. You just feel so welcomed. It's so great. It's a community.
Oh,
But
well, what a great way to kick this
that's my
off. I
Pure
mean,
Barre.
you're giving me all the warm fuzzies. I love it.
It's
Um,
so great.
yeah. Well, and also, I had no clue that you used to run, Kayla. I can't believe we haven't even talked about
I
this.
did. Yep. I ran two half marathons. I applaud you for doing a full marathon. There's no way. I mean, it truly like I hit like 12, that 12-mile marker, and I was like, um, my knees. I was just like, oh my God, like there's a okay, I could see the finish line in the distance. And really, all that helped me get there was a song. Like just a
Yeah.
song pushed me through. But yeah,
Yeah.
no more running halves or fulls. I did two, and that was
Yeah.
plenty.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
Yep.
incredible. And also, like, kudos to you for listening to your body. And when it wasn't making your body happy anymore, like pivoting and finding something else, that did feel good. And that's why I love to mix in bar as well, because running so high impact. So then you get that low impact, like strength as well with it. So.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, well, main reason you're here, of course, today is what you get to do in your day-to-day job outside of coming to Pure Barre and doing a workout for yourself. So, for people who may not know you, can you give a little bit of background, what you do currently, but also kind of like your path to getting there?
Yes. I know you gave me a great intro, and I thank you for that. It's weird talking about yourself sometimes, so thank you for setting that up. But currently, I am full-time esthetician. I work in a medical practice, so it's a med spa. So we have, the toxins and injectables, and we have wellness, and then I do all our facial services and skin consults. And then I have also worked in a plastic surgery setting, which was really nice as well because you've got surgeons on certain sides of the building. And so they're connecting patients who are they're really for their surgeries, but they're connecting them with how important skin is and continuing to just treat the whole self, really, not just, okay, let's get you nipped tucked. It's like, we also need to focus on the skin. So both have been wonderful. I absolutely love where I work now. Patients, um, they come in either they've already been there and they're now transitioning into some skin treatments. I get them on proper skin care. Just we sit down, do consults. So individual. It's very individually tailored, which I think is so wonderful because I might have skin consults throughout the day, but every one of them is so different.
Mm,
When you genuinely get to know like someone's life and what they want to make look a little better. Um, so it's just always still different every time I'm with someone. But my day to day is that it's facial treatments, working with amazing products that I've personally tried to make sure. I've tried them myself to make sure like that we don't have, multiple of the same type of things. We always want to fill a gap and have something for every concern and everyone, but we do always want the best of the best that is very
mhm.
innovative and it is corrective, and just very forward thinking in like the technology of skincare. So, but I get to work with great stuff and great people and help correct skin concerns and just maintain results. And but that's my day to day right now. And I come from actually 20 years in the beauty industry. I started in makeup, and I'd always had a love for makeup. And early on, I was working. I went to college for a dietetics degree, but jumped in with MAC Cosmetics part time when I was like like 20, maybe I don't even know if I was 21 yet. Yeah, I was 20. And the creative aspect of makeup was just so fun, and just really at the time I started it, it was more about me, and I could do all these artsy, fun, cool looks. And then it just got to where it was more, I figured out it was just really a gift where you can be with a client and they're very vulnerable because while you're
Mhm.
doing their makeup, they're opening up more. And so I realized it's actually just such a cool gift that I feel like I was God blessed me with to be able to listen to clients when I'm doing their makeup. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so rewarding. All the years, like all the brides that I've done makeup for several celebrities and TV and um, just different speakers throughout the years and pastors and um, oh goodness, I mean, just so many brides and and photo shoots, and you just have. It's just so neat to help someone really feel and look their best for whatever the occasion might be. So it's. I don't ever take it lightly that I get to be a part of so many special moments with people, and that really has translated so well into skincare because as I've gotten older is when I really started looking at makeup very different, where it wasn't about covering everything, no matter if it was for like a photo shoot. You can still make the skin look the best version without looking heavy and cakey and so it really I looked at the skin differently where it was like such a, this is the biggest organ. We got to take care of it. And so I just
Yeah.
really started getting more interested in the skincare route and like those treatments. And I mean, to be honest too, as I've gotten older, I wanted to know how to do those things for myself. So of
Yeah.
course I'm like, well, I'm going to learn how to do it. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's with anything. I'm like, you know what? I want to learn. I don't want to go get my nails done anymore. I'm going to go to school for it. Like I'm just the worst where I'm like, I'm just going to learn how to do it. It might be a control issue, but maybe that's really what it is. But anyway, I went to aesthetic school, and it was I was in the pandemic, and it was such a blessing because I never stopped makeup during COVID because the micro wedding became a huge thing where it was like
Yeah.
minimal people, right?
Mhm.
Minimal people, the important people in your life, but no one skipped out on makeup and hair. And I mean,
Mhm.
the me and the team I worked with, like we never stopped because we were still part of it.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do aesthetics and finish aesthetic school during that time frame. And so I have been in aesthetics full time for going on 5 years. And so it's very small in relation to my beauty background, but it all just linked together so well. And
Yeah.
it's just it just all it just fell into place. So
Yeah.
neat
Oh my
looking
gosh.
back.
There's so much I want to talk to you about. But thank you
Yes.
for like filling everybody in on the path because I think that's so helpful. And to know that like you're not stuck in one certain industry. Like you can take those little twists and turns like you did in the pandemic, going back to school and everything. But okay, what a special way to be a part of somebody's life, like being involved in their wedding day, doing their
Yes.
makeup. That's amazing. Do you have any that like stand out in your mind or like a few?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Um, oof, man, there was a really special family that I actually did wedding for the one, then ended up her sister got engaged. And then, oh, yes, and then the bride, like a year later, was pregnant. So I did makeup for her photo shoot for her
Yeah.
maternity pictures. Um, I mean, they were so kind. They actually owned some Fogo de Chãos, and but they spoke Portuguese, and they were from most. I think most of the family was from Brazil, except the new, like younger generation, like our age and stuff. Um, but that family, I saw them for so many occasions. They
Yeah.
gifted me so many Fogo de Chão gift cards. And at the time, I didn't eat meat. I don't eat meat,
Yeah.
and I still don't eat meat, but it was so funny. I'm like, I would call and order it, and I'd just be like, "Can I get this side?" And like, whatever all the vegetable sides were, that's what I got. But they were so kind. So that whole family was awesome. Gosh, there's so many brides. Wow. I mean, oh, man, that's a great question. I think that was definitely one of the because I just saw and I mean that happened a lot actually. I would do a lot of the bride makeup and then a year would pass, year and a half, and then it was like their sister family member, but or their maternity pictures. And that's really, really cool to see them
Yeah.
get married and then like now they're pregnant. And it was just that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like building a lasting relationship with them or like getting to
Yeah.
know the other members of their family having occasions as well. That's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I did wedding makeup for a bride the morning of my own wedding.
Stop it. Are you
Now that I
kidding?
think it, yes, actually, I do. Now I'm thinking back because my husband and I we met during 2020 online, and we got married a year later. I mean, you just got to know people so differently when it was
Yeah.
very virtual, so we got to know each other so well. And then we got married in 2021, and we did a little tiny wedding on a Sunday evening in Dallas. It was so hot, and but anyway, I did a wedding that morning,
Oh my
and
gosh.
and they were just like, What? You're what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "It's no big deal, because it's just what you do. You know, you do wedding makeup the morning of your wedding. I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I just loved being a part of those wedding days were so the mother of the brides were so fun and so sweet. Like I just loved them. They just were always like, "Oh no, it's about her. You know, don't worry about what can you do with this old face." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't I'm like, "Don't even. I could do
Oh.
everything with that." They always just kind of put themselves to the side, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had some wonderful clients
Oh, so
through the
sweet.
years.
Did you do your own makeup for your wedding as well?
I did. I
Oh,
did. And I had a gal do my best friend's makeup and hair, and then my mother-in-law, her makeup and hair. And then my parents actually, they were virtual. So my husband taught
yeah.
them how to use Zoom
Oh,
because it was just they don't fly. So
yeah.
but yeah, but that's also why we love Tennessee because they're now just a drive away.
Yes, which is so great. Oh, okay. And then I know, but while we're still on the makeup subject, I know you also, got to do makeup for different celebrities and at New York Fashion Week and so many exciting things. So give us all the details on that.
Yes. So New York Fashion Week, those were some crazy moments because it is the fastest pace. I mean, we were behind. It was Zach Posen when his show, and then there was another show with Brandon Maxwell, who actually Lady Gaga was in the back, walking through the backstage area. I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not do her makeup, but that one was. I mean, the looks are so minimal, but yet it's so much makeup
Mm.
that is like with the smallest brushes and like the smallest details, you're like you're literally covering like little nicks and cuts like on their legs because they've been to this show, and the poor gals got bruises sometimes because they're just having to like change out of all these things. But I mean, you might be painting legs before
Mhm.
they're walking out. It that was you're doing makeup while they're doing hair, but you have about
Wow.
15 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
And I've got several photos that ended up being taken from like the Gettys that when they do pictures and stuff. But that is just very high energy. You are wheeling a makeup case around New York.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and you may not have any lighting. Like I remember one of the shows was in like an old cathedral, and we were back stage, and there was like I was using my phone
Oh man.
to for light. It was so like you may not have outlets. I don't it was just it's so fun though to see like that end result. And I can see exactly why people stay in that fast pace because then when you're done, you're like, wow, we just did that. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was so cool. And then being in that Dallas area, there was just so many different events that were always happening. And I did had such a great time doing some makeup for Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, which was like my childhood dream just coming
Yeah.
to fruition right in front of me. And that one was for the ACM Awards when he actually hosted them in like 2014. And I was just doing his little eyeliner, and I don't know, I just had even like this feeling beforehand. I'm like, oh my God, what if they asked me to go to the award show with them? And I'm just doing his eyeliner, and he's like, you're going with us, right? And I like, I'm not even lying, my heart like dropped to my feet. I was just like, yeah, I just try to play it cool, Kayla. I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm going with y'all, whatever you need. And so that one is so memorable to me because I remember sitting in the limo with him, and it was him, like an assistant and a PR person, and then myself, like, and that was it. And we stopped at a gas station. He wanted to get some chips, and he's over there eating some barbecue chips in the limo. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like texting my brother, like, oh my God, I am in a limo, and Steven Tyler it's his limo, and he's eating like I think it was like Zappos or Grippos or whatever, one of those barbecues. And
Yeah.
yeah, he was just sitting there eating barbecue chips. I'm like, I'm in the limo with Steven Tyler.
Oh
And he was
my
so
gosh.
he's so kind. He's so kind.
Yeah.
I've just yeah. And so was like Jason Aldean, and this was years ago. That was like before he was just even huge. I think it was like 2013 when I did his makeup for a Mountain Dew commercial. And my mom, I'll never forget her asking this because she knew what I was doing that day. She was like, how's it going? I was like, oh, it's great. He's really nice. Like Jason Aldean's really, really nice. And she goes, what does he smell like? And I'm like, what is he? I'm like, I'm thinking, he smells like Marlboro Reds. Is what he
Yeah.
he smells like whiskey, mom, and he smells like Marlboro Reds. What else do you want? So yeah, but those
Oh
they
my
were
gosh.
yeah, really
Uh,
really good, nice people.
How did all of these experiences come to be? Like, give us some background.
Um, I mean, I will say like there the Aerosmith, the Steven Tyler one, just a friend of mine who also had worked for Mac, had done his makeup in LA, and she no longer lived in Texas and was in LA. And so she was just like, hey, are you available
Oh
this
my
weekend? I've
gosh.
got like a really high profile person that I'm not there to do. And I was like, yes, I am. And then she would tell me who it was. And I'm like, okay, thank
No big
you.
deal.
Yeah, no big deal. And I don't know, I think just the Jason Aldean one, I had a good friend of mine I'd met, and he was from Nashville, did a lot of filming, commercial, different stuff, music videos. I think he filmed most of like Dirk Bentley's videos back in the day too. But I think just when I met met people, like I genuinely like to get to know people, and I think I might have
Yeah.
met them at the mall or something. I don't even know. I think that's where I met him, and in like Louisville, and I just genuinely get to know people, and then I like to know what they do, and of course, people, we ask what each other do when you meet
Mm-hmm.
people, and it's like you remember that when something comes up, and you're just like, hey, oh my gosh, so and so does makeup. Let me call her. And
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, when you are just genuinely kind and you genuinely want to know about other people, it just in turn they want to do the same, and then it just things happen when they find out that you're good at your skill and with good with people, like they can refer you and trust that you're going to be good to their client's client. So I think just at the end of the day, just always being kind to others. Just that you can, it's a job, like a skill set you'll always use when, no matter what you
Absolutely.
do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's such great advice. And like, you hear that from like career advice, like, oh, it's about who you know, not about the job you see or whatever. But honestly, like if you're, like you said, if you're genuinely wanting to form relationships without trying to get something out of it, then one day down the line, you never know, what's going to come from that. So that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
well, I want to shift us a little bit into some skincare topics. So, I'm not gonna lie, this is an area that I'm trying to get better at, but I
Yes.
don't know a ton about it. So, you can educate me while you're educating listeners of the podcast as well. But I guess let's start with some like basic skincare 101. If people are doing like the bare minimum right now, what are a few things that you would recommend to somebody to start like implementing into like a daily or weekly or monthly routine?
Yes. Um, so I love that question because you are not alone, and I hear it so many times throughout my day where it's like people just need to know the basics, and that's where we need to start.
Hmm.
And so I always suggest a cleansing, um, a toner, exfoliator. We want something for hydration, and then your sunscreen. So, and I will say, I do come from a background where I feel very, very fortunate that an amazing account executive, when I was living in Texas, got a hold of me when I was brand new in like, I understand skin, but she got a hold of me with like some really great corrective product, and I got to see results firsthand. So I do love a certain brand. So I approach a lot of stuff based on their philosophies because I have seen it work countless times. So
Hmm.
when I say like cleanser, toner, exfoliator, hydrator, quote unquote, like moisture, not really a moisturizer, which I can speak on, and then a sunscreen, these are like principles and a fundamental five type of product lineup that work.
Hmm.
And so like I can always share more about what product line I like, and if people want to reach out, that kind of thing. I don't want to
Hmm.
say other brands aren't fantastic because there's a lot of corrective product on the market, but it's like when you can use an entire product line that actually like gives results when you do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to really like stand behind that.
Hmm.
But there's other things you can intertwine. It just your results may differ. So,
Yeah.
but yes, so going back to your question, I would definitely have a cleanser, um, a toning type of product, which helps to further get rid of any dirt, debris that might be left on the skin after you cleanse. And we want to exfoliate, and that is very, very key, which I'll explain. And then we want to have something that then adds some healthy hydration, and then your sunscreen. So that would be just some five easy, simple things to start.
Okay, that's amazing advice. That's great. Great spot to start. So, say somebody goes out and, they message you and they know which line they're looking for and everything, and they have these five products. What order do you use them in? Are you using them
Mhm.
all every single day? Talk us through the steps.
Yes. I love these questions. I mean, they're the essentials. So your AM, you'll still cleanse. And I know that sometimes people will just like splash water, and these are things I've actually heard. So no one is like, no question is a dumb question, we don't know till we know. So AM you'll cleanse, and then PM you will cleanse. And actually, we'll separate it. AM, you'll cleanse, you'll use your toning step, And then again, toning, so removing anything that might be left on the skin. So we want that squeaky clean. And then you'll just go into your hydrator and your sunscreen. Um, there is the exfoliation step that could preferably it's nice in the morning because your day you'll start your skin nice and fresh and
Hmm.
anything on there is exfoliated off. But that is just like 3 times a week.
Okay.
So exfoliation is really key. And some people will like I hear it a lot where patients have been hesitant to exfoliate because they feel like quote unquote dry,
Hmm.
but just I like to think and try to like visualize the skin, the surface is feeling dry, like because all the dead skin, that's where it goes to die. Like it's
Hmm.
going to the surface to die. So dead skin is dry and dead skin is dull. So if we have too much of that on the surface, you'll definitely feel dry. So we want to exfoliate. Even if we feel dry, like those surface textures, you feel them because the skin is there and it's dead. So exfoliation, very key, about 3 times a week in the morning. So that would be your morning. And then at PM, cleansing. And because the day has gone by, we've sweat, oil, maybe some makeup, sunscreen, all these different products and exposure to things. We want to cleanse twice at night. So that would be what we call a double cleanse. It could just be a little bit like a pea size, a blueberry size amount, but 2 times. So your skin is nice, clean, free of any oil, excess oil, dirt, debris, makeup. So you'll cleanse and then you tone again to help remove anything else. And that's where your hydrator type of moisturizing product goes. And
Hmm.
that would be your evening.
All
So
right.
it can be
Now,
very
for
simple.
yes, for people who are wearing makeup during the day, do you have like a separate makeup remover before a cleanser, or is this cleanser that you like also makeup remover?
There are cleansers, and the ones that I've worked with the most, you can use them as your makeup remover for eye makeup. If we're talking some waterproof stuff
Mm,
happening there, we definitely want to use an eye makeup remover. And I do like eye makeup removers when the cleansers have those active ingredients like like an acid, like
mm-hmm,
salicylic is a really popular ingredient in cleansers when we really want to get rid of excess oil.
mm-hmm,
So we want to use a separate eye makeup remover if you're
mm-hmm.
using cleanser with acids in it.
Okay, makes sense.
Hmm.
And then for the moisturizer versus hydrator, tell us about that.
Yes, I love that question. Okay, so um, the skin, if we think about like at one point it was able to give itself its own moisture. Um, Oil is not it's such an old saying, but people used to say, oh, if you're oily you age less quickly, and new technology, new discoveries, it is a total lie. Oil actually can cause aging because it's causing inflammation.
Mm,
So it is not good. Excess oil in and on the skin will actually cause your moisture that your body it's making from within. That's where it comes from, not the surface where we put all these creams. It's coming from within. That moisture can't get to the top because the oil lubricates and it stops it. So your
mm,
moisture actually isn't even getting to the surface. So you probably feel dry because oil is a barrier for the
mm-hmm,
moisture your body has made. And so now you feel dry on the surface, but yet you're oily and having
mm,
breakouts. So there are hydrators where like a moisturizer is just going to like sit on that surface of the skin. Um, there's definitely some that work differently than others, but in theory, we want something that actually is hydrating, which is a deeper level of the word itself is going to be on a deeper level than just moisturizing. Moisturizing can be just like a band-aid type of
okay.
visual. Hydration, we want that to be happening from within. So that product needs to be functional and get into the skin, not just sitting on it. So that's why I do use the two words kind of separately, like hydrator versus moisturizer. Um, that hydration really has to be woke up, stimulated, get going from inside.
Okay, makes sense. Now, for SPFs, what are you looking for in those? Like things to look for, things to stay away
Mhm.
from.
Yes. With SPF, there's lots of discoveries that continue to come out on SPF. A lot that we're seeing now have they're kind of pivoting to where we get coverage from like the blue lights. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like what we're seeing with a lot of SPFs either being repackaged or redone and new ones coming out because we are exposed to so many lights that are these high energy lights from our
Mm-hmm.
phones, our computers, just honestly really terrible lighting too, like
Yeah.
that omit heat. Um, Infrared, these thermal type of lights that give more warmth. Those are some things we have to protect from. But the SPFs, when you see broad spectrum, that is really ideal because it's protecting from our UVA, which are rays that really come from like the heat. Like I think about a sidewalk when it's hot and we get that
Mm-hmm.
heat in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
That heat you can't see, it's like this, it's a thermal type of heat,
Mm-hmm.
and it's causing these type of rays can cause aging. So when
Okay.
we've got yes, so when we've got UVA, UVB is, I always think about A is going to be aging, B is causing the burning. We want protection against both of those, and then the broad spectrum will protect against both of those. And what's nice is now you'll see these HEV light protection,
Mm-hmm.
which is a yay because we're on our phones so much. Those are really the key ones. Some ingredients will be just for like a little tint. So you can also get, a sunscreen that has a tone to it. So you really take out a step if you don't wear much makeup anyway. You could have it all in one. So you'll
Okay.
have like a little tint to it and it protects and it gives you a little glow and color. So there's lots of beautiful sunscreens out on the market. For me personally, I will say, so I do have, speaking of like skin, and so I have a skin condition that is a hormonal type of pigmentation. It's stimulated by hormones and heat. And so speaking of the heat, it's called melasma, but the heat stimulates my pigment. So I like to have
Mm-hmm.
a mineral sunscreen because the mineral sunscreens, they actually will reflect those the heat and the light,
Mm-hmm.
instead of and nothing is wrong with chemical sunscreens, but they absorb the light and
Okay.
they make an energy, they just use it as an energy in the body. But when you get to reflect the light, I'm not personally susceptible to pigmentation as
Okay.
easily when I can get the light reflected. So I do stick to a mineral sunscreen. Just that's a mineral versus chemical sunscreen. Not one is better than the other. It's just finding what skin concerns someone might have
Mm-hmm.
and picking one based on that. Did that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's super helpful. Like finding what
And
works for somebody dependent on what they're
yes.
what they're needing for their skin.
But that really is in the sunscreen, that's the two options. You'll have a chemical sunscreen option, and the chemical, the word itself sounds scary, is why I'm like hesitant to use it. But that is how we describe it, would be a chemical sunscreen. And then a mineral sunscreen. There's just two ingredients. Only there's two ingredients that are in the mineral category. So,
Okay. Good to know.
yeah.
Now, what about if somebody is like experiencing a lot of breakouts or acne or things like
Hmm.
that, and they cannot figure out, like where's this coming from? You hear so much about like it could be topical, it could be hormonal, it could be what you're eating or you're sweating or things like that. Like if someone's coming in, and maybe you don't deal with this, so forgive me, but if someone's coming to you and they're like, I don't know what to do, where do you normally start with them?
I start with truly being so empathetic. It is one of the toughest conditions to walk with someone through because it just feels, I mean, it impacts so many, just confidence, social interaction. It is, I just feel for them. And I just will sit there in that and hear it out. And I do ask questions about allergies and different things that might bother. Ask I take into consideration, their age.
Mm-hmm.
Hormones can be a huge player because testosterone and androgen, they're two very key hormones that generate oil. So if we're extra oily, then and maybe they don't exfoliate. So now we've got dead skin on the surface, a lot of oil, and now we
Mm-hmm.
have a barrier that's trapping oil. So I try to just listen to what they've used, what they have been trying, because most of the time they've tried, quote unquote, I've tried
Mm-hmm.
everything, and that's tough because here you are introducing something else that they're thinking, well, this isn't going to work either. So you
Mm-hmm.
really just want to just be there, and it's a lot of follow up, and but you just stick with the journey on it. But with that, I do try to give pretty good, like, I don't ever say, like, oh, you're going to get these results in this, because you really don't know the kind of the where it's coming from all the time. You understand that there's oil involved, there's dead skin involved. The bacteria is feeding on both of those things. There may not be oxygen getting to those breakouts because the dead skin. So there's like some science around a pimple and like what it is. So those things I know. You can't change that. But I try to set an expectation of, if the skin's healthy, a new skin cell is made, and it takes on average about 6 weeks for that skin cell to get to the top.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're thinking 6 weeks, then and we've got breakouts happening, then it's going to take a couple cell skin cycles for the skin
Mm-hmm.
to push these things out.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to give something a chance as well. Like, you got to give products a chance. If someone's saying, "Well, I used this for a month and it didn't work," it wasn't even long enough
Mm-hmm.
for a skin cycle to happen and get rid of some things. So we do have to keep in perspective, like, what the timeline looks like, and like if they are involved maybe in sports or activities that are like helmets touch the face, or how we're cleansing.
Mm-hmm.
But I really try to keep it pretty simple in the beginning, but with like ingredients that are going to get rid of oil, also exfoliate the dead skin, and really just the key things like we talked about from the beginning. We just want to really normalize the skin and
Mm-hmm.
not just like throw a bunch of stuff in there, because I need to first get to know their skin within a 4 to 6 week cell cycle, like that first.
Yeah.
So like to get people on those essentials that we talked about, and then I'd like to see them in 4 weeks after that, just to see any nuances of improvements, and then change anything from there. It takes, that one's a tough one because it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we're not a generation. We're not in a world that likes to wait. so,
Yeah.
so we needed to fix it now, and it doesn't work like that with skin. So just being gracious with your skin,
Yeah.
um, and knowing that it takes time, celebrating the small improvements. Like, even if we reduce some redness, that means inflammation has calmed down. So that's yay. Just
Yeah.
trying to like be along that journey of like, it's okay. This, like, they're not as big. Like, I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
it's not as a big of a pimple. You might have one, but let's look at what the before photos. So just
Yeah.
really been supportive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tough. Okay, what about I've seen these all over social media. I feel like the like red light technology, whether it's the masks or people sitting in front of the panels. Do you have thoughts on this?
I do, yes, and we have a fantastic, very large sized one that can cover like our neck, chest, face at work. We use a little pair of goggles with it. It has different wavelengths of the red light, and red light is proven to help with inflammation. Helps with circulation, so we can stimulate absorption of products. It stimulates wound healing. So it's so funny you mentioned this. We were talking about this like 2 weeks ago at work because there's one brand out there. It's really popular and it's a mask. And I'm like, how are they doing this? Because you don't put goggles on with it.
Yeah.
So that is still like on my mind. I need to like look at
Uh-huh.
that and like if it's I don't own that mask, so I'm like, are your eyes not seeing it? But we use goggles, like the old
Yeah.
school, like it came with like these little bitty tiny goggles, like you wear in
Yeah.
the tanning bed,
Uh-huh.
um, because you have to protect your eyes. And I
Yeah.
just so that's my only thing. If people are buying a red light mask or a panel, I like the panel because you can do different body parts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of the wavelengths reach in, you've got like into muscular, like health and healing.
Wow.
So we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
therapeutic penetration, and it's all like light-based devices are
Mm-hmm.
really like where we're like seeing these technology advancements with light,
Mm-hmm.
because it can get to these depths of the skin, like into muscle. Like it's
Yeah.
so wild to think that that can heal things like that. But just the face mask, you're not really going to be using it anywhere else. So I would recommend a panel if someone was going to do one. Um, and it does have tons of science on well, certain brands will list, FDA cleared, FDA approved. That's what I would
Mm-hmm.
look for if I was going to buy one for home use. One
Mm-hmm.
that's like FDA cleared, that shows like it's proven that it gave results,
Right.
visible results. But I would wear goggles
Yeah. Yeah.
completely. Protect your eyes at all costs.
Definitely.
And the blue, there's a blue too. So
Oh,
there
a
are
blue
blue.
light.
So, oh, yes, I'm glad you brought this up. So, about the red light, because the blue is ideal for bacteria and acne. So
Okay.
so there may even be if somebody has like the light, if it's a wand that maybe comes in blue or red or a purple,
Mm-hmm.
the blue and purple, those are helping with bacteria and acne. So they're fantastic if that's the concern. Compared to red is going to help with the majority of skin concerns. But I mean, if we're really dealing with more of an acne, we would go towards the blue.
Okay. Good to know. And then kind of along those lines of like fads you see almost. What about like the gua sha, different like facial
Yes.
massages, things like that for people who might not know about it? Talk to us about that a little bit and like your
Yes.
thoughts on that.
These are such fun questions because I do love my gua sha at home. I am not by any means an expert on all of those Ayurvedic, which I mean they're very Eastern type of
Mhm.
healing, Eastern medicine, been around longer than any of us probably would even truly know because of just, I mean, I'm even thinking like thousands of years, people have
Yeah.
had a stone and knew how to move that lymphatic
Hmm.
system, without all the advancements we have. And those tools still exist. They've just been
Hmm.
refined and smoothed. But the gua sha is wonderful to, um, just really removal of toxins because you're going along areas that can flow out through the lymph system. So, and this is where actually, it's one of my goals for 2025. It's so fun.
Oh.
Because I use my gua sha, but like there are certain points on the face
Hmm.
that have a therapeutic response.
Okay.
Um, so it's areas that really would depuff and increase circulation and move those toxins. So our lymph system runs all throughout. But the gua sha, it is beneficial. You can do it where you're doing more of the lymphatic movement, or there's like some more lifting techniques to it too. So of course, lifting, you're going to be going more upward, and then
Mm-hmm.
the other one is more to detox out. So both are going to
Okay.
help reduce puffiness, increase circulation, provide more of a lifting effect if you're doing that technique upward. And I've done one technique several times for myself that releases sinus pressure, because those little
Yeah.
guys,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
right here in these cavities, like under your eyes, you've got those sinus cavities. You've got like one, oh, that whole center part of the
Yes.
face. So there's lots of different techniques that I've read. I'm just not, I wouldn't say I'm an expert at those, but I can make it feel nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've used them in treatment plenty of times. I just always check in with my client because I know the route we're going with it, but I'm like, how does that feel? Because I can't
Yeah.
feel what they feel. I just
Right.
know that lymph node is in that area. So tell me how that feels. Um,
Yeah.
so I would highly suggest like anyone having a little gua sha. I'm not uh, extremely knowledgeable on like all these different stones. I just know that if it's jade, rose, any of those different um whatever the jewel tone or jewel is, it should be cold if it's real. I do know that.
Hmm.
But there's the guashas, and then you have the ice globes. And those
Yeah.
are nice. Those you keep in the refrigerator. Um, the gua sha, you do not have to, because it's more about
Mhm.
circulating and less about the ice globes are about more of depuffing and reducing some
Mhm.
inflammation. So one needs to be in the fridge for an
Mhm.
added benefit. Um, what other little ones? Those I think are probably more of the m- more popular ones that have been around for years,
Mhm.
years and years. It's so neat.
Yeah, even just talking about the sinus really, I can just feel it. Like, oh, in allergy season, like little pressure, relieve the sinus pressure. So nice.
Yes. Yes. Yep. What else?
Okay, I'm trying to think of, we've talked about so much. I feel like I have so many more questions for you. What about, okay, products or regimen based off of age? So if you're
Hmm.
20, if you're 40, if you're 60, if you're 80, like I'm sure there's different things you want to focus on implementing and maybe different areas of concern. So maybe like, I know this is such a big question, but like kind of quick hits for like different age groups of like the things they could be
Yes.
doing to focus on.
Yes. No, I think that's a great question because I do interact with all different ages, and this comes up. Um, so again, implementing your cleansing, exfoliating, your toning, that type of hydration product in there, and then your SPF, those would be those essentials. And this is where really a customized regimen starts happening, because let's say in your 20s, we really just need to properly cleanse. Skin's normal, oil looks normal, like I don't see excess oil. So we're just going to cleanse properly, exfoliate regularly. And then we want to prevent pigmentation from happening. So that's where like your vitamin C's, antioxidants come in play. Vitamin C is, I think, a big real a buzzword. Vitamin C is not for everyone. Antioxidants are. So
Okay.
I'd really think more in a broader spectrum where antioxidants will protect, like it's funny. You think, I mean, wine has antioxidants. It's a resveratrol is from grapes, and grapes are, antioxidants come from a lot of fruits,
Yeah.
and plants. So they help protect us from internal and external things. So antioxidants, and then you are going to be for every skin type, because they'll protect. You just at that point, if they're in their 20s, we're really preventing, probably not correcting a ton of things yet,
Hmm.
but prevention. And then when we're looking like late 20s, 30s. At that point, we're going to prevent, but then we might be correcting a little bit of things that we see, maybe texture because we need to increase exfoliation. Um, and then like later 30s, 40s on up, then there's different levels there, but trying to let's see how we would simplify it. I would say really with those trying to figure out more about that concern if we oh, I mean, it really does stay into like a prevention. Antioxidants are necessary. I mean, really, the main concerns we see are like any sort of pigment, or we're losing some elasticity a little, or fine lines are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, even the word peptides, that's a big word nowadays too, but they're great because they help plump the skin. They help
Mm-hmm.
hydrate. They smooth out lines that are visible or soften those. Um, so I would definitely look at having an antioxidant for our protection, something that is helping to keep the skin taut, firm. Um, and then every age after the age of 24 needs a retinol. And that is like a whole different group of that could be a show itself. So we could always do a part two.
Okay, we might have
Retinol,
to.
part two, retinol is your friend or something. Because there really are different ways to use that, but we all, after the age of 24, we need that because we just stop producing as much collagen as
Mm-hmm.
we used to, and it stimulates.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an exfoliator. It is a stimulator, and it is very interesting because it works way down deep in the skin.
Okay.
So, but that really, like at every age, we need to cleanse. We need to keep the dead skin off, keep everything moving. So exfoliating, toning. We want to hydrate, SPF, everything all over chest, neck. I had one ladies tell me one thing once now forever remember it, and it's your face starts at your chest. Your face
Oh,
starts at
yeah.
your boobs, your face starts down here. So if moving everything down, and making sure you get your chest and your neck, and I mean
Yeah.
hands are neglected so much, and
Yeah.
they show age really quick. So um but those would be the key things, if that that help.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
That kind of,
absolutely.
okay.
And I mean,
I
I
get
know
so
that.
excited about all this stuff that I'm like, oh wait, did I just use way too many words to explain that? Because I get so excited. It's such a big, yeah, I'm a consumer too. And so I try to think about it too from as a consumer myself. It could be overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you go into like
It
any
is.
beauty section of any store or website, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, there's so many things. Like, I don't know what to use, what's like necessary, what's just like, oh, this company is just trying to make money by creating another product that's doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean? There's just so much. So I think this is
Yes.
so helpful, really, really great, tangible advice for people, especially like if they don't know where to start at all, starting with those 5 types of products that you talked about
Mm-hmm.
to really start implementing and like taking care of their skin like for the now and for the later when they're getting older and everything as well. So,
Yes. No, it is everywhere. I mean, you go into any store and it's just like everyone has, I mean, goodness, like vitamin C. There's like all these vitamin C's, and it's like that even that alone is overwhelming. And then you've got hyaluronic acid is a huge term in the skin world, and it's like hyaluronic acid is made inside. So people just get really hung up on that having to use this, and there's like you just don't have to have a hyaluronic acid.
yeah.
Like
Oh,
it doesn't all get, it's a large, I mean, this gets way out there, but like it's a very large molecule on like molecular size, and it does not get into the skin. It just it can't. So like there's research that has to even be done. Is there something that is in this product that will take that DHA, that hyaluronic acid, even into my body. Um, but it's I get it why it's so confusing, and I feel for us all.
Yeah.
So I think going in and when you do get something, give it a chance, like keep it simple and just give a product a chance instead of like, okay, it didn't work in a month and now I'm gonna try this. We
Yeah.
just overwhelmed ourselves.
Seriously.
Hmm.
Oh, well, Kayla, I feel like I could literally talk to you all day about this. So I think we definitely do need part two,
Do
part two,
we do?
retinol and other things.
Yes. Oh, that would be so fun. We could do one
Yes.
a beauty one a month if somebody we could
Yes.
yeah, we could take a poll and see what somebody wants to hear
Yeah.
about next or what everybody wants to hear about next time.
Great idea. So everyone stay tuned on Instagram. We'll poll you, question box. What else do you need to know about skincare? And we'll have Kayla come back on and share because this has just been so helpful. I know
Yes.
so many people are going to feel more equipped to like take care of their skin. They're like you said, their largest organ of their body. So
Yes.
important. So anything like we have to chat about today that I've left off of my question list.
Mhm. Mhm. I mean, I do think with skincare and treatments, um, there is a lot of weight put on it has to be done in a treatment room. So I do think it's really empowering when I get patients on the right skincare regimen and they realize, oh my gosh, I get to do this. They're 80% of the work, whereas I might not see them, only but 4 to 6 weeks. And even just I take into consideration people's our budgets and what we
Hmm.
I don't take it lightly that people want to spend money on skin stuff. So it's
Hmm.
like figuring out where we can get the biggest bang for our buck. That whole little thing is so true. It's like, what can I get for the least? What can I put in and not have to spend the most? But if I could see someone every 6 weeks, I could get them results with the right skincare products and making sure they're doing that at home. And then they get to see me and we do something really like a stronger form of exfoliation than they could get at home. I I definitely get results that way with people. So
Hmm.
I don't want people to feel discouraged about, oh, well, I can't go to, the spas and or a practice and get all these treatments. My budget
Hmm.
doesn't allow that, but your budget totally can allow corrective skincare and having someone like myself that will we follow up and can teach you how to use it at home to get results. Just it amps up your results when you can do it in the spa.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you mentioned that because part two, we're going to have to talk about all the different types of treatment you can get in spa too, because really we focused a lot on like home care today, but
Yeah,
that could be a whole nother thing too. So
I
love
love
that.
that.
Okay. I've got some final questions, some rapid fire for you if you're up
Oh,
for it.
okay, I'm ready.
Okay, it's just
Rapid fire.
a general wellness rapid fire. Maybe before next episode, I'll do like a skincare rapid fire, but this is general wellness rapid fire. So first off, morning or evening workout?
Oh, morning
Running or walking?
running.
You didn't sound so sure about that.
Yeah, I just if I'm going to do it, I need it to work.
Yeah, I get it.
Maybe speed walking. I could be a mall walker.
There you go. Perfect. Lifting or body weight?
Oh, body weight.
Juice or smoothie?
Juice.
Coffee or matcha?
Matcha.
Mm.
Mm.
Salad or bowl?
Bowl.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Tacos or quesadilla?
Tacos.
An early riser or night owl?
Early riser
All right.
for
Well,
sure.
Kayla, it's been so much fun getting to chat with you the last, oh my gosh, like hour or so. It's flown
Same.
by. Thank you so much for coming on. For people listening, where can they follow along, learn all about skincare? If they're in Knoxville, where can they come and see you if they want an in-person visit?
Yes. Okay. You can follow me at Kayla Ray Beauty, a little underscore. And then I am an esthetician at Farmhouse Skin and Wellness. So you can reach out either way and we'll be in touch with you.
Amazing. Okay. Well, thank you again so much for your time today, and stay tuned for part two. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Health by Haven podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and leave a review. It makes such a huge difference in reaching new people and spreading the joy of healthy living. I would also be so appreciative if you subscribe to the show in the listening app of your choice so you never miss an episode. Your support truly means the world to me. Have a happy, healthy day, and I'll talk to you again soon.